And welcome back to Dragon Ball Z What If? What if Goku never got married? Last time with the Dragon Ball Z What If, we were dealing with the Buu saga. And basically how Shin and everyone was actually going to end up finding Babidi in his ship. Now, Spopovich and Yamu, unfortunately, didn't go after Gohan because he doesn't exist. They went after Goku, who ended up resisting the Supreme Kai's paralyzing technique, and ended up beating the hell out of those two, but was able to use his ki to read their mind, as we saw that he could in Namek, and they found the location of Babidi's ship. Now, someone did bring up where Vegeta's attitude might be in this. And it's a fair question. Where is Vegeta's attitude? Because we know in the original canon, he let himself be controlled by Babidi because he did not want to waste the opportunity to finally face off against Goku again after 7 long years. He'd harbored so much resentment, embarrassment, humiliation, anger that he just allowed that to happen. But that also implies that because he allowed it to happen, he might have been able to resist it. And this Vegeta, while you can tell he still is not as strong as Kakarot, he has the pride still being the first Super Saiyan, so he's always going to carry that with him. But B, he's had plenty of times over the years to challenge and grow with Kakarot. Goku and him have progressed together by leaps and bounds. And I imagine that has tempered him, I should say, to a certain degree where, yeah, he's still very much the prideful, arrogant jerk he is. But at the same time, he does recognize Goku as a legitimate rival, and he'll never say it out loud. Obviously, a friend to some degree. Like, Vegeta clearly considers in the actual series Goku a friend. He's just never going to say it out loud. So, Vegeta, I don't think, would be susceptible, in this case, to the Majin magic. So anyway, the group heads out there. That includes Piccolo, who I haven't really brought up how strong Piccolo is either after training with Goku in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Note that we didn't fuse Piccolo and Kami together. So this means that Piccolo initially wasn't anywhere really near as strong as his canon counterpart this time, but he did get the benefit of a full year of hyperbolic time training with Goku, which does put him, I think, well actually beyond his canon counterpart while Kami is still living. So Piccolo is actually exceptionally strong here. Not on the same level as Goku and Vegeta, but still exceptionally strong. So they find Deborah's hideout finally. 18, by the way, is the winner, hands down in the tournament. No issues there. Deborah comes out, spits on Piccolo and Krillin. They get turned to stone. And then he backs in there after killing Vito. So they go in. It's a lot of the same things happen. Pui gets his ass kicked by Vegeta. Yakon blows up because of Goku. But when Deborah comes up to play, they act because there's no Gohan here. They're like, okay, which one of us gets him? There's only one way to decide this. Rock, paper, scissors! Rock, paper, scissors! And for the sake of a little change, Vegeta's the guy who gets him. Now, Shin does remember, Vegeta, do not let him spit on you, or you'll suffer the same fate as Piccolo and Krillin. Right, I got it. Whatever. So you're the big bad demon man, I'm Deborah, the king of the demon realm. Well, good for you, but I don't really care. You will learn to respect me in due time. Human scum, human. Watch what you say. I'm not human. I'm Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. And Body's like, what is a Saiyan? Deborah though is like, so that explains the power level. And he briefly explains to Babidi what a Saiyan was, allegedly. He knew they were destroyed, but that's about it. And so their fight goes down, and Vegeta's not done. He wants to test out Cell, but he immediately goes to Super Saiyan to test, I said Cell, Deborah, but he immediately goes to Super Saiyan do it, because base form-wise, he knows he can't go up against this guy base form-wise. And so they're relatively even. We know in the canon that Deborah's power is around 4,000 kili, which 1,000 is equivalent to about 1 billion, which means 1 kili is equivalent to about 1 million. And Vegeta and Goku were evened out, and we know Goku's power is actually 3,000 kili. But both Vegeta and Goku are a bit stronger here, so they're almost even in just Super Saiyan. And Vegeta's like, Vegeta, please, we can't waste any excess energy. They'll be powering, it'll all go to Majin Buu. keep in mind, they didn't get any energy this time, so Boo is still... yeah, but they didn't get any... Who knows? I doubt they got any energy from the tournament. So I bet this Boo barely has anything to go off of right now. To which Shin actually... That's actually very true. And I'll make sure to rectify that. Oh, you will? Well, you said. He pulls out the sword. You'll pay for that. And he just powers up to Super Saiyan 2 and immediately wrecks Deborah's shit. Just, kind of does the bro. Just, all right, I've had enough of this. Gallant gun, fire! Deborah tries blocking it. Damn it. And, he's destroyed. Holes blasted in by shit. No! Deborah! No! And Piccolo and Goten, Piccolo and Krillin are released from that. Meanwhile, they all wind up in the bottom. Bobbity, though, is like, there must be... Could I take control of any of them? No. You. There might be enough in your heart to take control of you. You won't be getting away with that, Bobbity. I'll make sure of that. No! Damn it all! And because Boo's barely got any power and is not even... Bobbity is... can't even release him. Yeah, I think Shin just kills him. So that's the end of the Boo arc, basically, in a nutshell. They all say Shin thanks them greatly. They ultimately use the Dragon Balls to wish back Kibito. So there's Anya Kibito. You get brought back there this time around. There is no old Kai. There's no Super Boo. There's no destruction of the planet. There's none of that. There is only darkness. No. But yeah, and Trunks doesn't bother to try to chase after them like they did because he doesn't have Goten and Tail to keep up with them and, go with his bad ideas. So, be a partner in crime and kind of be the petty kid thing. So now we cut all the way to Super now. With, Beerus waking up, going to King Kai, saying, I know nothing of a Super Saiyan. I know Saiyans pretty well. I've never heard of a Super Saiyan God. I see. Well, maybe where are these Saiyans again, Luis? Oh, they're on a planet called Earth. Oh, no. And, King Kai's in his head, he's like, Goku, we have a problem. It's like, what are you talking about, King Kai? It's like, Beerus is coming. Beerus, ask Vegeta. Hey, Vegeta, you ever hear of a guy called Beerus? He's apparently a god of destruction. Sounds really strong. Beerus? Why does that name strike up? And then, cockroach! Under no circumstance are you to challenge old Beerus whatsoever. What? Why? Wait, is he really a strong... You have no idea he can wipe out the universe! It's like, whoa. Why is he coming here? I don't know. All we need to do is make sure that he's happy and fed, and we'll be good. Oh, you're planning to feed me? Well, good, I'm starving. Hello there, Vegeta. It's been a while, hasn't it? I remember you being a lot shorter. Not that that's changed by much. Very funny, Lord Beerus. I thought so. Anyway, what's going on here exactly? It's my wife's birthday, and we'd be honored to have you as a guest. Yes. And say, Goku say, hi, I'm Goku. Goku, I told you you're probably the strongest guy in the universe. I'd love to have a sport. You shut up, Kakarot. And say, what was that now? I'm sorry. I was busy looking at this weird concoction. What is it exactly? Pastries, pastry eating games. And they explain the whole pastry games. There's a mollusk in this wheeze. It's like, oh god, if he gets the wasabi, that would actually have been hilarious. We saw what happened when he had the wasabi. But anyway, so most of this actually is going down pretty okay. Beerus even gets his pudding without any, issue with Boo. Because there is no Boo. So eventually he does it. While this part has actually been quite entertaining, and I don't say that very often, he really doesn't. I must admit, there was a reason I came here. I was looking for a Super Saiyan God. There's a legend, so told of him, to be my next great challenge and rival. Well, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with it myself. Oh, but you, being the Prince of all Saints, you know all about your legends and culture. How is it you're not aware of this? I can't say for certain. Yeah, I can't say either. Well, why don't we use Shenron? Is it, your wish orbs? Not a bad idea, actually. They get Shenron, and he, makes the wish, and they make the wish, and he explains how to create a Super Saiyan God. Now, the issue here is the fact that we don't have a lot of Saiyans on the planet. We've got Vegeta, we got Trunks, and we got Goku. So this begs the problem. How are we going to get more Saiyans here? Well, it's a problem to say the least. But damn it all. Damn it, Whis, this is pissing me off. Well, what if we could find Saiyans? I'm sure there might be a few more out there. It's like, well, couldn't we find them? Perhaps. It's like, well, unfortunately, we used up Dragon Ball. Actually, I could be an assistance at that. What? It's like, oh, indeed. Yes, I should be able to point out a few triangular Saiyans if I can find them. And so he looks, and sure enough, he finds 3 Saiyans. Now, Tarble technically is canon. They just don't bring him up ever. But Tarble is canon, so they find Tarble, they find Broly, and they find Paragus. It's like, oh, it seems there are a couple Saiyans left out in the galaxy there. Really? Oh, thank God. Thank me. Well, perhaps I'll bring them here in a jiffy. Hold on. And just disappears. Like, they're just waiting. Beerus, and just, pudding is so good. It's like, okay, keep him calm. It's like, oh, come on. I'd love to really take a whack at it. You'll do no such thing, Kakarot. And Bulma's getting pissed. What's the big deal with this guy? And Vegeta actually has to, honey, he is Lord Beerus. He is God of Destruction. He could literally waste this planet with a snap of his finger. I know it's your birthday, but we can't let him be too angry. So ultimately, boop, and say, oh, here we are. The Earth. Where are we? What planet is this? This blue person just came up and just teleported us here. Tarble? Vegeta? Vegeta, who's this? This is my brother, Tarble. You survived? It's like, oh yeah, hey bro, how are you? And meanwhile, Paragus like, you're King Vegeta's son, Prince Vegeta. It's like, I am. I've waited a long time for this. It's like, I'm afraid that's gonna have to wait. And it's like, wait, no! Your father banished me and my son to just for being a threat to you and him and the throne and your precious loss. And Vegeta's like, I knew nothing about that. You know nothing. You lie. You're just a spitting image of your father. Self-centered and full of hate. I swear Broly's gonna... And Broly here will waste you. And Broly's like... And Broly's looking at us like, wow, you look pretty strong too. Thanks. I can tell you're pretty strong as well. I like to consider myself pretty strong. And look, we don't have time for this, all right? Let's do it. Let's get this Super Saiyan God thing going on, and then if you have anything against me, we can take it out after that. Have it out after that. This isn't over, you hear me? And so, but fine. It's like, so Saiyans, they do the whole thing, and Goku gets to be the god. They have their fight. That goes about the same. Paragus is just like, shocked by this. Even Broly's like, whoa. Because Broly at this time, first off, he's younger than what we see in the Dragon Ball Super movie. In fact, he's younger by a few years, same as Paragus. And so he's barely tapped in. And Beerus, we know, is just, his powers, he's godly. He could take out the universe if he wanted to without too much of a problem. And so, Beerus comes out, well, I must admit, that was quite the fight. I enjoyed myself immensely. I had a lot of fun too, Lord Beerus. You are definitely unique, Saiyan. I'll give you that. Well, it's probably about time for us to be going, but we'll keep in touch. And so they fly off, and it's like, oh, that was fun. That was fun. And all of a sudden, there's the status. Now we have unfinished business. Look, I already told you. What my father did to you had nothing to do with me. Oh, and Goku actually changes like, yeah, honestly, it makes no sense. What do you mean it makes no sense? I mean, why are you hating on Vegeta? Because his father, but he wasn't his father. His father did that. Vegeta didn't do that. Your father's dead. You're the only one I can take my vengeance out on. But he's dead. And then Goku's like, but he's dead. So, isn't that enough? Paragus actually did stop and think about that for a second. Look, we've established Vegeta didn't have anything to do with it. His father did, but his father's dead. Frieza killed him. He got what he needed, or he got what he deserved. At least that's what you tell us. That's what you tell us, Vegeta. That's all right. Frieza killed my father and blew up our planet. Isn't that compensation enough? Enough. And then Paragus actually thinks like, just stops and actually thinks and actually just kind of takes a breath. I'm not apologizing, but you live with hate for so long, sometimes you can't see anything but it. So, like I said, I'm not apologizing, but I suppose there doesn't need to be any real need. There's no real need for revenge, I suppose. Yeah, now you guys here, you can make a new home here. So, well, it is. I hope there's plenty of food. I say, well, we got plenty leftovers. Oh God, I just see actual food. I'm just in Broly. It's food, son. Come and get some. He's like, oh. So Paragus and Broly are on the planet now, but Charles like, well, that was real great, but I gotta get home to my wife. And it's like, oh, right, and oh yeah, sorry about that. And Whis is like, well, we can transport you back if you like. It's like, oh, thank you. And they fly off. So we end up now with a little bit of a fast forward a little bit. So Vegeta and Goku do eventually go off the train with the Super Saiyan gods, for Super Saiyan God training, Super Saiyan Blue, all that. Paragus and Broly actually settle in pretty nicely. It's a relatively peaceful planet. Broly can, exercise when he needs to, actually train, but he also just spend time with animals and get to know people and stuff like that. Ultimately, though, what happens is Frieza shows back up for Resurrection F. And, the Z Fighters have to protect everyone while Vegeta and Goku are off planet. The difference here is they got Broly. And Broly in base form, without even going into the Ikari form, was able to go toe-to-toe with Super Saiyan Vegeta, who has already enhanced his base form with God Ki. Yeah, Broly's kind of a freak. And so Broly's actually going through a lot of these guys. And he comes in at Frieza, and Frieza's like, I don't know who you are, Saiyan. It's clear. I don't know who you are, but it's clear you're a Saiyan by that ferocity. And Frieza powers up to his base, but Broly is actually, strong enough to keep up and go toe-to-toe with that base, no problem. He has to go all the way to Golden Frieza as he just, I've had enough of this. It just starts crying. I was saving this for Goku, but you will do just fine. Broly, was it? Have a nice day. No, son! I got you! Dad! Son, it's alright. This is our home now. Fight for it, Broly. No matter what. Fight for it. And then, it's finally Goku, Vegeta, and Whis and Beerus get there. They're there to see Broly's rage, and, he cracks. So he goes straight to Super Saiyan. Now, remember, Broly was already in Ikari when he hit Super Saiyan. So he's actually just bypassing the Ikari and going to Super Saiyan. So his Super Saiyan form actually isn't as strong here as it is, again, in Resurrection F. Or in Dragon Ball Super Broly. But that doesn't mean he isn't strong enough to completely bitch slap this version of Frieza who only just got this form. And he just immediately goes ham on Frieza. Just beats the hell out of him. Broly, it's okay, Broly. We can bring him back, Broly. We can bring him back. And, Vegeta and Goku both go Super Saiyan Blue. Just, kind of rein him in because this Broly isn't as strong in this form as he was in Super. So they actually can go hold him back with Super Saiyan Blue. It's okay. We can bring your dad back, Broly. It's all right. We can bring Paragus back. And he's finally just kind of taking breaths. And Beerus and Whis are actually looking like, my word, the potential of that one's quite frightening, if I'm to be honest. Indeed, Lord Beerus, perhaps we should bring him back for some training, and he might make a worthy sparring partner, after all. And so he just, and so, they bring Paragus back. It's like, son. Now, some people might say Paragus being a little too fatherly here is out of character, but I do think in both versions he does care about Broly on some level, more so in the Super version than in the Dragon Ball Z version. But I think the reason we saw so much of the abuse from him too is the fact that they were on that planet for years. It was he was playing his revenge, and now that revenge is gone, he can actually kind of be more of a father figure a little bit to Broly. Apologize a bit to him. And so they bring him back. Whis and Beerus are actually, Whis actually encourages Broly to train with Goku and Vegeta now, and Broly's actually getting some legitimate training in. Then the Universe 6 tournament happens, and now we have Broly, Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and then Monaka on this. The tournament comes, Goku goes up against Potamo, beats Potamo, gets Frost, loses the Frost, Piccolo loses the Frost as well, Vegeta beats out Frost, Goku gets reinstated, the Kaba and Megarita fight go roughly the same, and then you have the Hit fight, which goes the same as well. Broly goes up next against a Hit, and he goes all the way to Super Saiyan right now because he doesn't have God Ki at this moment. But he's still got, all this power, and, he's able to rush in at Hit, but Hit's, again, able to put him down just like he did Vegeta. This gives Goku more ample time to, measure Hit, measure out what he's doing, and think words are stop smacking your lips here. And, go a bit more even with him and press more of an advantage against him. So I think the fight still ends basically the same way, and then Hit throws the fight with the Monaka. So we're at the 20-minute mark. I think we'll leave this last part for next Saturday. That way we will be able to basically cram out the Goku Black Arc or whoever Black Arc. Could be a Broly Black Arc. We'll find out. Probably it'll be Goku Black. Broly hasn't shown off everything yet. But the Goku Black Arc and the Tournament of the Power, and we'll have a nice long video for that. Or at least all the time I need for that, instead of cramming it out in the last part here. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review of it at some point. Hit that bell button to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.